What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Girls Aloud as we continue through chemistry. Thank you, as always, to Flemish Giant. And the next track in the playlist is Swinging London Town. So, number one, swinging makes me think about not specifically or explicitly like swing music, but that type of vibe, like party, energy, flash style, and a nightlife, a sort of culture of being out, being seen, and specifically in the context of music and dancing. And then London Town has kind of an older feel to it. I don't know if that specifically means like the city of London, which I realize is like a very geographically small part of like greater London, metropolitan London, but I don't know if London Town is just kind of like a phrase which has, again, a bit of an oldie-timey sound to it, or whether that is actually something very, very specific. So either way, again, my thought in advance is that this might relate to the nightlife, the club life maybe of London Town, and someone who's a part of that or describing that. Either way, I will try to catch what I can. Let's hear it. This is Girls Aloud. The song is Swinging London Town, and it's part of Chemistry 2005. Oh. Bit of an acid sound.
Do you know the meaning of breaks and sees the light right in my eyes? Let it go with a twist, girl. I know and realize just that I'm living on a tightrope. I can't hold them down. I pussyfoot from drink to drink. It's swinging London town. Do you know the meaning of ways and places? Faces I've never seen. The mother of all hangovers to remind me where I've been. And if I stop, I'm sickened. It really gets me down. So I step back into the city lights, the queen of London town. It's the queen of London town. It's the queen of London town. New York, Monaco, Paris, Milan. Rich girl, does it because she can? I'm still a big time rich girl. At first in retail therapy, now I'm down with lots of rehab. And all of it for free. And I'm always joking, no egos, my feelings to make charm. Gigolos, sitting hollows, hanging on there all night. Sunday, deep in it, I'm starting to drown. I roll with all the wannabes and swinging London town. Do you know me?
That's a hell of a shift.
Really, really know me? So drink can party, free flow, bubbly, trouble, gin. Cocktails with price tags, make you choke on your sushi. Dressed to impress these bright young things. Just me and juice, drink white wine, spritz. Gin and tea, all bubbly.
so much to say here. Number one, I'll try to start with the lyrics. So it does sound like someone who's very much part of the London nightlife and the partying lifestyle, but it also sounds like there's two asterisks there. Number one, it sounds like she is critiquing or at least pointing out the flaws or the excesses or the plasticity of some people and aspects of what's going on. And number two, it sounds like she's kind of being swallowed alive a little bit. Like she's waking up with hangovers. I mean, she's talking about being, like, I guess I'm knee deep in it and I'm actually, like, starting to drown. And then I think there was a reference to rehab and, like, drinking cocktails to the point where you're, like, getting sick on the sushi that you're eating. So, and again, I think there's, like, reference to, like, people from Chelsea and, like, walking down King's Road and, like, it sounds like she's saying, like, yeah, it's all a bit, like, too, like, not self-righteous, but, like, the people are a bit too concerned with fashion and the people are, like, partying to the point of actually, like, making themselves sick and, like, kind of making themselves a bit unhealthy and sort of being unable to stop the inertia of this lifestyle and being part of this swinging London town scene. And she's not excluding herself from that. And I like there was a moment in that middle section where I could, like, hear the ice or something, like, in her cocktail. It was like, I suddenly felt like we're in this scene. And then some of the vocals, they're kind of, like, echoed and spacious to the point where it feels like, we're a bit loopy. We're, like, we've had a few drinks or, we've been partying all night to the point where you're just, like, a little out of it, but you're still there and, you're still, putting on a face and, you're still stylish and so on. So again, it sounds like there's a critique or two baked into this. It sounds like she's actually going so hard in it that, like, it's not fully healthy, but it also sounds like it is exactly as exciting and energetic and stylish as the title might suggest. So yeah, I very much enjoyed that. Sonically, I love how, like, at first it's got a bit of this electric energy, and definitely there's some sonics along the way that are more in the, like, kind of underground dance vein. And then suddenly it's got this floaty, dreamy, a bit trippy, like, psychedelic middle section, which feels like, it's almost like we're floating away, and it's very different, knowing eventually that it was going to get back to more energy, which of course it eventually does. And then the vocals, they get a bit more intense, and there was, like a synth bass line that had a very energetic run to it, which, like, helped guide us back into the fuller part of the sonics. And then right at the end, it almost sounded like it stripped some of the electronic stuff out, and it sounded like we were at a rock concert or something. It was brief. It was only the last, like, 10, 12 seconds, something like that. But suddenly it felt like, oh, we're, like, at another venue and they're playing, like, a rock tune or whatever, and it suddenly felt like world sound, like we were there, like, not like it was direct line, like a rock track, like, in the recording here, but it was almost like we were hearing what the narrator was hearing at yet another venue as they're up till 7, 8 a.m. or something, and they're still out partying. So yeah, a lot going on in this tune. Maybe I'm not reading some of that right. Certainly I feel like, again, it is in the environment of dancing and partying and drinking and going a bit too much, going a bit too hard. As someone who was involved in the 90s rave scene, I certainly had my share of that and saw people maybe go even harder than I did and pay the price in some regard. Thankfully no one I knew paid the price in a more serious respect. But again, like, that feeling at the end of the weekend that, like, oh my god, like, I've got a crazy headache, I've slept like 2 hours in the last, like, 72 hours, and I got to go to school or work the next day and so on, and, like, I got sick last night because, again, I was maybe dancing while I was a bit too far gone and so on. It feels like there's definitely some of that happening here, but also, again, maybe critiquing the kind of, like, oh, we put on fancy clothes and we go out to these fashionable places and we're all buying drinks, and it's like, it's about being seen as it is as much, like, about the music or about the actual experience. So yeah, let me know if I'm wrong about that, but a cool tune and one that I enjoyed, like, lyrically, sonically and vocally. And again, like I like the way the vocals went from a more straightaway, like kind of tougher sound to again a bit more like floaty and spacious, almost like they were, sort of psychedelic in that middle part. So let me know what you think. Thank you again to Flemish Giant, and from Luca and I, we will see you next time. Peace.